Here we are back. I'm Robinson, and we're talking about uh, black women, young black men, and how can we make our situation, our lot, better. This is Black Talking to Black. I'm black. I'm talking to you. We assume you're black, colored, Negro, or whatever. We'll just use the term black because we were trying to work the street. We're trying to work the street. Now, I like to use the term we. I like to use the term we. We, as blacks, are in this pot together, or in this, we're in this pot together. I don't necessarily like to segregate. Well, these are the Uncle Toms over here, and these are college kids over here. They think they're better than we are, and these are the light ones over here, and these are the dark ones over here, and these are the fat ones over here, and these are the ugly ones over there, and these are the ones that got money. See, we got money over here, and these are the poor ones that live down in the hood. I don't think we're going to get too far with that attitude. I think maybe the best attitude is using the term we. We are all in this together. We as blacks. And maybe even a larger group. Maybe the poor Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, poor whites, other groups and all this. But primarily we're concerned about blacks and the negativity that we as blacks are projecting onto our own race. Well, this guy's an Uncle Tom, and look at this woman here. She got all this stuff in her hair, and she's switching around and all that. She make the race look bad and all that. We want to try to say this, or we want to say this. We are all in this together. We, all of us, black Americans, come off the plantation. We all came off the plantation. And we all, as far as I'm concerned, are, have a long ways to go. That's all of us. This idea of, well, the darker ones are bad, and the darker ones are this, that, and the other. This is not the case. It's not the case. It's never been the case. Now, we've had movements, and people have studied this. You had and still have some light blacks whose fathers were white. They didn't necessarily want to identify with their black offsprings, high yellow offsprings, but they did give them money. They gave them money and some support in all of this. Thorm, Sherman, and all these guys, and they gave money to their black wives or black girlfriends who had these white kids, or high yellow or low yellow, and this was the case. And so we had this subculture of these light-skinned blacks, and in a lot of cases they were better educated, had more morality, and you can go back in history and study these folks. And they considered themselves not to be, well, we are different than those black Negroes. In fact, we are not even Negroes. We are mulattoes, or we are this, or we are something besides Negroes. But what happened? It wasn't enough of them to make a difference. And all of them had, this the high yellows, all of them had brothers and cousins who were black. They had one or two had white fathers, but the rest of them in the family were black. Their mothers were black. And they're the third kid down the road because they later with black guys later on and this and that and all that. Their fathers were black or whatever. So in every household, you got two high yellow uh, uh, kids, but the other ones were black. And so it's a case of they have problems disassociating with the rest of their family. And so they had all these problems, and they still do. And so the high yellow maybe had some money and was able to go to school and this and that and all that and all this. But their brothers struggled along, and some of them did move along with the money that the white father was giving to their yellow children or offsprings or whatever you want to call them. Maybe he had his regular white wife up on the hill. He's laying up with the black chick down in the hood. She has a white child, a high yellow child, but he sends her money. So everything works out. And these kids consider themselves to be better. And maybe they were. Up to a point. But it wasn't enough of them to make a separate race. And it's still not enough of them to make a separate race. And they still have their black siblings. And so they still have this associative situation. And it goes on. Some of the early black universities were found on the fact that the white fathers was able to support and supported the black universities. And the high yellow kids was the ones that brought in the money. And the poor darker kids, hung on the coattails of their high yellow siblings. And the thing moved along. We're into we. It wasn't enough of them to really. They wanted to break off and we're better than those other guys and our siblings and all that. But they didn't. There wasn't enough of them, and there wasn't enough money to do that. So you have this precarious situation now that the light ones are better than the dark ones, but the dark ones are catching up economically, socially, and everything else, and because these are their brothers and all this, and so you get this upward movement. So this idea of we, this idea that the blacks have to identify with their darker sisters and brothers because they're there, and we're gonna come back with the we mentality as opposed to us. Us over here and we're over here and they're over there. I'm over here and they're over there, as opposed to we're all here together. We'll come back.